All right, welcome back, you guys. Happy Monday. Hopefully, you had a great weekend. We are going to give it a few for folks to come strolling in so we can talk about today's episodes. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff today. Sharon. What can we say about Sharon? She is always a snooping. But we'll talk about it. Hey, Aisha. Welcome in, you guys. Hey, girly. So, yes, happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans that served the country, whether it's in previous wars or is currently active in the military. So, yes, how you guys doing? Hey, Melissa, Indigo Blue, Vicky, Angela, happy Monday. Happy Monday and Veterans Day to you too, Belinda. Karen Bram. Hello. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, Brooklyn. Welcome in, you guys. So, welcome you all to Soap Corner Talk, where we're going to discuss both The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful for November 11th. And again, happy Veterans Day to all of the vets, the military folks. We actually have a military person as part of our crew, so shout out to Keish. Keish is a member of the Air Force, so shout out to her as well. All right, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about, I guess. I thought we was going to get a little bit more interesting stuff on Bold, but it definitely opened up the door to the whole storyline with the situation with Electra. But we'll talk about it. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into this. It's about 30 of you guys in here and ready to talk. All right. So we're still dealing with the Sharon situation. We saw Nick having a conversation with Sharon. Sharon is trying to make sure that Nicholas believes her, and she also got accosted by Phyllis as well. And Phyllis is like, I got evidence on you. And she's gaslighting her. So it's actually getting Sharon to question her own reality. Because in Sharon's mind, when she thinks back, hey, Gail, when she thinks back, she's thinking about all of the I's that she dotted and all of the T's that she's crossed, right? And so she's still kind of like, well, wait, did I miss something? Now, if Sharon was in her right mind, all she have to think of is that if Phyllis actually found evidence, she would have already taken it to the police. Why would you walk around with evidence when there's an active investigation going on? And this is where Sharon is not thinking on her feet. Neither is Cameron Kirsten. Because if she was thinking about this, that's a crime. So technically, because you are obstructing justice when you're withholding evidence. And if she actually has evidence, Sharon could actually throw Phyllis under the bus. So just say Sharon says, listen, I don't know what's going on with Phyllis, but she's telling me that she is withholding evidence from you guys. She said that she got evidence. Maybe you need to talk to her. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, Frenchie, listen, she got to think on her toes. If Phyllis actually had evidence, she would have already had given it to the police. And at the same time, why do you have evidence when there's an active investigation going on that could close this case? So if Sharon was smart and was thinking on her feet, she should go to the police and says, hey, there's this woman, Daniel's mother, who you are trying to convict her son. She's telling me that she got evidence and that she's withholding evidence, saying that she has a way to blow this case wide open. That's all she has to do. Yes, Cam is back. Cameron is back. I guess he took a little bit of a break. Lyndon Ashby is like, look, I've been working all summer. I need some time off. Yeah, Jill and Ashley is back too. Anyway, so now what was funny is the conversation between Sharon and Nick. So Sharon is trying to convince Nick that she's not the perpetrator, and she wants to make sure that Nick believes her. And at the same time, Cameron Kirsten is talking to her in her head, and she's staying off in space. And Nicholas like, hello? What are you looking at? Are you okay? That was crazy. That was crazy. But anyway, that should have gave Nicholas some type of, alert or red flag that, yeah, Sharon is still not, she's not all there right now. Anyway, so of course with the gaslighting, Sharon decides to go and sneak over at the GCAC. Now, hotels have cameras, or at least you think. Plus, her fingerprint should be on the door handle because she did not use any gloves. She went right in the room, took a key card off of the housekeeping's cart, and went into Phyllis's room to snoop. And of course, it left us with the cliffhanger on whether or not she found something or whether maybe she'll plant something. Who knows? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see in the Tuesday episode. But she stupidly decides, because she's being gaslit, that there's some evidence out there. She goes over to Phyllis's room to go and snoop around. And I'm like, girl, you snooping for evidence? You about to set yourself up. And who's to say that now, according to the spoilers, there's going to be a second trap at the end of this week by Phyllis for Sharon. Who's to say this isn't a trap? Maybe Phyllis knows that Sharon might come to her place. Maybe has some cameras. Well, it remains to be seen, Hey, Mari. The cops didn't even check on Daniel's alibi. I know, it's just so weird. The writing sucks, Frenchie. That's the crazy thing about it. The writing sucks. You would think they would say, where were you on the night that, that Heather was unalived? And they can verify his alibi. He'd be off the hook immediately. But it just shows the poor writing in this. Or they're just trying to drag this on for content. You know what I mean? So it sucks. So we'll see if she actually get caught, or if this is a trap, or what Sharon does in Phyllis's room. All right, Jill is back. Jill is back for the wedding. And of course, she stopped by to see Victor. And Victor wants to make a deal. Victor is trying to play Shark Tank and saying, hey, how about you, let's make a deal with Chancellor. I want Chancellor. Do you want your harebrained son to continue to run the company? And she was like, well, if he ever do something, I'll put Lily in charge. And this is when I was on pins and needles when I was watching this episode, because I was hoping Victor was going to drop that bombshell about Lily working with Lily working with Victor with that whole secret about Odyssey 7. And I was like, tell her. Especially when Victor says, I don't think that's a good idea for you to put Lily in charge. And I'm like, oh my God, he's about to tell her. All he ended up saying was that she wants to go back to Winters. And I'm like, really? That would have been a drop the mic moment. But maybe he want to, keep her in her good graces just in case maybe he can scoop Lily up to come over and work for Chancellor. See, I don't think he want to burn the bridge between him and Lily if he doesn't say anything. Because I'm like, why wouldn't you say something? Why wouldn't you say, hey, I don't think that's a good idea because Lily stepped outside of your company to come over here to give me those secrets. But I think he's trying to not burn that bridge between him and Lily just in case he can utilize Lily in the future. So, Victor's always thinking 10 steps ahead, and he's probably like, well, I might be able to utilize her, so I'll just hold that over her head. I won't tell your secret about what you did to Jill, but you have to do my bidding. Victor is always looking for leverage, so maybe that's why he didn't say anything. Melissa says Victor isn't playing Shark Tank, he's the shark, and everyone else is the prey. Well, that's what the sharks are. You have multiple sharks on Shark Tank. So when you have Mark Cuban and you have the other sharks like Damon and what's the other ladies? Oh gosh. And I just watched the Friday episode the other day. But you know what I mean. Each one of those are sharks going after a business. So I just used the name Shark Tank. I didn't mean it like, anyway. But it looks like after the end of this conversation, because it's going to lead into the Tuesday episode where they have unfinished business, both Jill and Victor. Look like she's leaning toward, saving Catherine's legacy in their conversation and maybe handing that company over to Victor, which means Billy and Lily is going to be out of a job. Now, more than likely, Lily either has a couple of choices. Either she worked for Nikki, which I don't see that happening, because Nikki and her are not in a good space right now. So I would assume that maybe she'll just go over to Winters. And Devon would be more than happy, and Nate, to have her over there. You know what I mean? So I can see that, I can see that being the case in regards to Lily. But Billy, my question is, what is he going to do? Because he's not going to go work for Victor, Victoria, or anybody else. What does that mean for him now? Is he going to work over at Jabot? Is going back to Jabot? Or is he going somewhere else? That's going to be the interesting question. That's the $100,000 question. Where is Billy going to go? Tommy said Lily doesn't deserve any job. Listen. CJS, welcome. That's a new name. Welcome to Soap Corner Talk. Where are the cameras in all these public places? First, in the penthouse, where's the security? Now Sharon goes into the hotel and there's no security camera or security people. What? I'm just saying. Yes, I mean, obviously you would think in hotels like that, there should be cameras. So, yeah, I agree with you on that. But, anywho, I'm curious to see what happens after the fallout of Jill giving this company over to Victor Newman. All right, another person that's back in town is none other than Ashley Abbott. Now, she was a little bit nervous, but she's also excited to be at her daughter's wedding. She was able to see Alan. Now, a lot of us have been speculating whether or not Alan is Martin or whether Alan is Alan or whatever the situation is. And so far in this episode, nothing was off kilter. Now, that doesn't mean coming down the road, because this is spoilers month, sweeps month, I'm sorry, not spoilers month, sweeps month. For November sweeps, that doesn't mean that maybe she'll pick up on something, to trigger her to say, well, wait a minute, that sounds like something Martin would have said. So who knows? But so far so good. I enjoyed the reunion between Ashley and her daughter, because Abby showed up as well. And so look like she's doing good. She's a little nervous. Her therapy has been going well. So I agree. Hey, Jenna, I think Nick is going to catch Sharon and Phyllis's room. I guess we'll see. That would be interesting. I do know that on the Thursday, because the 13,000 episode is Wednesday the 13th. So on November 14th, I think there's a spoiler saying Nick is going to find out something shocking or something like that. Yeah. So anyway, I did hear about that Vita, but I'm waiting on additional spoilers on that. I did see it in the picture, but I need some clarity on that. One thing about what I do here, I like to get the details first before I put it out there. So, but I did hear that to answer your question. CJS, I thought the same thing. Maybe Phyllis have cameras in her room. It's possible. We did also see a conversation between Daniel and Cricket. Cricket is starting to think that maybe Sharon can be used as reasonable doubt. I mean, it's a good way to go. I mean, she's close. Obviously, we know that Sharon had some involvement. Now, we did not see her unalive Heather, but she was involved in being there. She actually had, some type of poison in her pocket. And she disposed of a body. So obviously she had some culpability in parts of this. We just don't know whether she was the actual person who used that octopus. You know what I mean? But Cricket want to use, she was saying Sharon looks afraid. She looks very fearful. So it's giving her some type of concern that maybe she's involved, quote unquote. You know what I mean? And then we can't forget, I forgot about that. Thank you, Aisha. Will Sharon unalive Phyllis? Because that was one of the things that Cameron Kirsten was encouraging Sharon is to get rid of Phyllis somehow. So, yeah, I don't know. That's going to be crazy if, in fact, she tried to take out Phyllis, too. Yeah, that's going to be insane. So then finally we had the conversation going down between Jack and Tracy. Tracy alerted him about the conversation with Diane, and he was not happy. And he's headed out. Now, obviously, we do know from the spoilers for November 15th, which is this Friday, that Diane and Jack are going to be caught. So just like you Soapies predicted, yay! My Soapies are on it. Just like you Soapies predicted, it looks like Jack and Diane were working together all this time to undermine Victor and get Kyle back in the fold and possibly get Glissade under their belt. But them being busted, I'm wondering if that's actually going to work. But on this episode, yeah, Tracy triggered him, and it was all a big farce with him being all mad and hot to trot, because obviously this is part of their plan. But, overall, it was an okay episode. It was good to see Ashley back. It was good to see Jill back, Eileen Davidson, and, see Jess Walton back, because we always see... we always see Jess Walton show up as Jill on a, what they call it, a tablet or something. So to have her on set, she's looking good. Look like, she's been out there away from the studio doing her thing, and now she's back for a little bit. It's good to see her. So I am going to give this episode, I'll give it a C+. In my opinion, it was average. It wasn't like, oh my God, that was great. Or, oh my God, that's a shocker. It was okay. It was average. Jenna gave it a D. You go, Jenna. Jenna's like, it wasn't all that. All right, let's see. Vicky gave it a B. Gail gave it a C. I'll give it an A-. Okay, Cheryl, go ahead. Melissa, C, D. Jenna's Zoom. Okay. Janera gave it a C+. Welcome, Janera. Haven't seen that name here. Deborah Scott, Belinda Hill, all y'all giving C's and D's. Yeah, it was just pretty much average. It wasn't like, like, oh my God, that was a great episode. Like, wow. I didn't get that type of energy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it was good. Okay, so yeah, you said because of Jess Walton and Eileen being back. Yes, it is great to see them back. So that's why I gave it a C+. To me, a C+ and a B- seem to be the same. But it depends on the grading scale, All right. So there we have it. Let's talk about Bold. All right. So this is one thing that I am happy about. And let me know if you guys, and I'm gonna ask you guys this question. Did you notice that Steffi is now happy to have Ivy Forrester as part of the team. And she was talking about how nice it is to add Forresters to the team. And this is one thing that I had been saying a couple weeks ago when Ivy came back. I was like, you know what, Steph? You need to embrace this. This is another Forrester coming into the fold. I think is awesome. Try to build a relationship with Ivy. That's your cousin. I loved it. And I'm like, yes. And I'm thinking to myself, writers, are you guys sitting in the back there, even though you're not responding? Just to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we should make nice between Steffi and Ivy. I absolutely loved it. So let me ask you guys in the question, and give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can. And I know you have emotes in the chat or on your phone. How many people, give me a thumbs up, enjoyed the fact that we might see a bridge happening between Ivy and Steffi? So give me a thumbs up if, in fact, you are excited about that. Because I've been asking for that for the longest, to give a thumbs up on that. Let me see if I can find my thumbs up, if I can. This thing here. Yeah, give me a thumbs up and let me see what y'all thinking. Okay, there we go. Right there. Okay. There we go. All right, you guys. Yes, absolutely. I absolutely love the fact. Hold on. Look at there. I messed that up. Okay, let me get that out of there. Okay. Yeah, I absolutely love the fact that, we actually see that type of connection between them. So I was happy about that. I really was. Absolutely. Okay, moving on. So they're excited. I think she's more excited about having her as part of the team over Hope. Hope is in her past, or her rear view mirrors, at least so she think. And Ivy is the new replacement for her jewelry line. They're putting out a whole campaign. It seems they're excited about it. Katie, she's kind of in between. Part of it, she's excited about, Ivy's jewelry line. But she's also trying to do the whole PR thing in regards to Hope's line. And Steffi ain't budging. She was like, I know you her auntie, but okay, get over it. It's done, and we're moving on. Well, what should I tell the press? Tell the press. The press don't even care. They're refusing her orders. I don't understand why they try to make this a big deal, like it's going to make or break anything, because the same people don't want to order the line. They've rejected it, as they called it back in the summer, order rejections. They're not buying it. It's not trending. So I really don't think that they care. I think most people would be like, well, that's to be expected. We stopped buying Hope for the Future a long time ago. So, I mean, they act like it's going to be like, oh my God, it's going to hurt Forrester. No. The fact that it's not making any money is hurting Forrester right now. So at this point, Katie, stop it. You got a job to do. The line is not in good shape. You know what I mean? So just cut the crap. Okay? All right, back to Electra. So once Electra found out that they're going to be doing a campaign and that she's a part of the campaign, she's trying to weasel her way out of this because she's trying to keep a low profile. Obviously, because of her ex, which I did that in my spoilers. If you guys got a chance to take a look at the spoilers I posted this weekend, the actual, and what was his name? Oh my God. And that's the thing about new characters. I'm trying to remember. Let me pull it up. But we have, oh, hold on. I think I can pull it up right here. Okay. Christian Wiseman is the actor, and he's playing a guy by the name of Remy Price. So Remy Price is the guy, if you look at that picture in the upper right hand corner, he's stalking and noticing that she's in LA with this new Forrester campaign, and look like he is chomping off at the bit to realize that he found the person he was looking for. So obviously she's been laying low for a while, but I'm thinking to myself, you go into a big fashion house working for your aunt, you gonna be in the limelight. You can't stay in the shadows. And even though she tried to make a plea to Steffy is like, well, I understand you want to keep a low profile, but too bad, so sad. The campaign has already been promoted. I'm sorry, it's too late. You're on, the promotion. So Remy is probably the photographer. You think so, Gail? We'll see how they bring Remy in. We will see. I know, Angela. I think that would be smart to talk to her grand aunt or great aunt. What is it? Aunt? Lord, her great uncle, which is Uncle Eric. Her great uncle, or talk to Riz. They're like, look, they put me in this campaign. I got a problem on my hand because this guy that I used to date, he's stalking me, and I want to be protected. That's all she has to do. You know what I mean? Bree said, did you guys notice how Steffi still needs reassurance from her father? Yeah, that conversation is coming up, girl. I saw it. But I think that, Electra needs to say, hey, my ex Remy, I know he's been stalking me, and I don't want to be in the limelight, so I can help from behind the scenes, but he might find me and he could come and attack your company. I mean, we already got Lunatic Luna out there. Well, now we got Remy Price. And then we got Hope and Carter coming for the company. So they're going to get hit all the way around. They're going to get hit business-wise. Electra has, has this whole situation with Remy. Now, even though Lunatic Luna might be coming for Bill, it still will have a direct effect to like Will, right? Because Will is dating Electra, and then we got Will also being the son of Bill Spencer. Katie will probably get involved. So in this whole thing, it's gonna be like 3 bombshells waiting to pop. And then you got to throw in the whole situation with Hope and Carter that's coming. So it's gonna be crazy this month. You know what I mean? But interesting stuff, to say the least. So we'll see what this guy does. Hopefully, in my opinion, like you guys are saying, I think Electra need to have a conversation with Ridge and Eric to put them on notice and maybe give her some form of protection. You know what I mean? Joy said Remy is going to find out how to get into Forrester. Yeah, he might get a job doing something else, and they don't know who he is, because she hasn't spoken up. He probably applied for an internship or something. Who knows? Jenna said, I think that when Brooke goes after him with Hope and Carter, he will be furious. Oh, of course. Absolutely. All right, speaking of Brooke, there was a conversation. It's good to see Taylor was working. She's setting up meetings to do conferences. I'm like, go ahead, Tay up in there working her business, minding her business and working her business. Well, at least for right now. There's a knock at the door, and can you believe they actually locked doors on the show today, where Brooke actually had to knock first instead of just opening up a door and walk in? Yeah, anyway. She told her to come in, and they go back and forth about Hope and Steffi and this whole thing with Finn. And Brooke is still trying to convince her this was a big misunderstanding. And she was like, how? How is it a big misunderstanding when your daughter was dressed in lingerie and blah, 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 blah? Now, here's the smartness of Brooke compared to Hope. Did you guys notice that Brooke gave an explanation that she saw a rack of lingerie and she decided that she wanted to try on a piece? It had nothing to do with Finn. That's all that technically, because she would have been half right, because she did try on the lingerie. Hope should have thought on her feet and did exactly like that. Now, granted, who said that? Somebody said something about a lie. Oh, Brooke is such a liar. Okay, so she told a half truth. That's what, and I guess a half. She didn't give the rest of the story that she tried that on for Carter. The other thing that she lied about was the fact that she said Hope tried to explain. Hope didn't try to explain anything. Steffi asked her 4 or 5 times, explain the lingerie, and she was looking like a deer in headlights thinking about Carter. You know what I'm saying? It's like, girl, you're not going to be able to convince somebody the story without telling the major piece of it. You only gave half of it. Yes, was there a rack there? Yep. Yes, did she pick a piece off that rack? Sure did. Did she try it on? Absolutely. But the missing piece is I tried it on for Carter. And because Brooke is locked into Hope, and so is Carter, and they're following her lead down this stupid pathway of not just telling the truth, because people have been involved in relationships with other people in that office since the dawn of decades. I mean, I don't understand the problem. Just say me and Carter are dating, and that was for him, not Finn. Finn walked into it. Angela said, Jenna, Hope can't think on her feet. You know, yeah, she was too late for that statement. She did it and rolled right off her tongue. She was just trying it on. Now, obviously, Taylor was like, yeah. But what was she doing in his lap, though? And that's the part that somebody's going to have to say something. So then the conversation shifts to the whole chakra treatments that Ridge put in place. And, you know, obviously Taylor was laying it on thick about how cathartic it was. And I put everything on Ridge because that's where my health and my well-being come from. If it wasn't from him or for him, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today. And of course, the yab yum pose, that yoga pose where she was straddling his lap. Yeah, Brooke wasn't happy about that. And she was like, well, you were really in a very intimate pose. Oh, yeah, that pose right there. It was about releasing all of my regrets. Right. Girl, she was landing. She knew it was getting under Brooke's skin. And, of course, Brooke is like, okay, you know what? Let's just cut the crap. Are you in love with Ridge? And, of course, they left us with that cliffhanger to, you know, see what her response is going to be. But she was like, yeah, whatever. And I know you had all of these overwhelming epiphanies and cathartic moments. And, yes, you're still seeing Chandra, and it's helping me. Because she made it look like Brooke started off with, like, I just want to check on you. I know we're not friends, but I just want to make sure, girl, are you good now? And then Taylor laid it on thick. And then it led to, yeah, okay. Are you still in love with my boyfriend? Because they ain't married yet. If they are going to even get married. Are you still in love with Ridge? And she got those eyes looking at her like, do you really want me to answer that question, Brooke? Do you really want me to answer that? Seriously. Angela said, all I know, Taylor make Brooke so uncomfortable, it was funny. I know, right? It was funny. Why was Brooke asking Taylor a question that she know the answer to? She know that girl got feelings. She has been for the last few decades. Come on now. Even when both these ladies were with other people. So we know Brooke has been with Nick Maroney. She's been with Bill Spencer, and Taylor has been with Thorne and other relationships. They all circle back to Ridge. Roads lead back to Ridge. And then they both start crashing out against each other over Ridge. When Ridge be playing mixed signals. He's playing two in the middle. Bree says sitting in Ridge's lap cured all her issues. He caused her. Oh, okay. Sitting in Ridge's lap cured all her issues. He caused her, apparently. Yeah, right, Bree. Okay. LOL is absolutely right. Mari says Brooke never take responsibility for her own actions. Both these ladies are crashing out over Ridge. I mean, she literally passed out on the floor seeing Ridge kiss Brooke over at that studio a couple months ago. And then, of course, Brooke watching this whole chakra exercise or whatever. Brooke was sliding down the wall, crashing out, overseeing the two of them do the whole sitting on the lap thing. And it's like, at what point do y'all realize that Ridge is going to do Ridge as long as y'all do what y'all do? It's like, come on now. Ladies. So, yeah, that whole thing was crazy. What is Carter revenge plan for the Forresters for Fire and Hope? We're going to find that out later in the week. Why is Brooke scared to death of Taylor? The thing is, she needs to be worried about Ridge. That's the problem. You barking up the wrong tree. She could look at Finn, for example. Now, Finn has been Team Steffi pretty much 100%, except when it comes to Sheila, right? However, and of course, look like that has kind of been put to the back burner as well. But Hope kissed this man. She had lingerie in front of him, even fell in his lap with lingerie. And Finn has not budged one iota. Whereas Ridge, he'll give mixed signals, like when he was talking to Taylor, I want you here. We want you here. And it's like, really, Ridge? Quit playing. He likes the attention that he gets from both these ladies. Jenna says she can't fight for Hope if Taylor is staying in town. Brooke wants Taylor to leave town. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Gotcha. But, I mean, as long as they keep playing tiddlywinks and, going at each other when Ridge is the one that's having people sit on their laps and then having a whole relationship with all these other people, it's just crazy. He's trying to have a relationship with Brooke, but then you giving mixed signals to Taylor. And it's up to those two ladies to be like, look, if you're going to keep playing tiddlywinks with Taylor, Brooke should be like, I can't do this with you. You need to figure out your feelings, or I'm just going to do my own thing. Taylor needs to be like, look, you in a whole relationship with Brooke. Don't come over here telling me things and rubbing my thigh and all this old kind of things and giving me googly eyes. Thank you for helping me with the heart situation. But don't play with me. Don't play with me. And she needs to set boundaries. But they're not going to do that. Because they want to win. It's all a competition between them. And they both want to try to get rich. Yeah, I know, Jenna. Jenna says Brooke wants a clear path and Taylor's in her way. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I see where you're going with that. Because Brooke thinking like, well, if you're doing fine now, then you don't need to be here. That's not your call, Brooke. Her daughter, her grandchildren are in LA. Even if she wasn't here for Ridge, her daughter and grandkids are here. You can't tell her now that you feel better. Not saying that's what she's going to say. That's not a spoiler. But I see where Jenna is going with that statement. As long as she's in town, she's in a way. And she figured like if you doing better, There's no need to be here. Well, there is a need to be here because her daughter and her grandkids are there. So she can kick rocks. Bree says, my question is, why did Brooke go to Steffi house instead of Forrester? She wanted to run into Taylor to feel her out. Absolutely. And some of the stuff that she was talking about with business, talking about, well, I have a reason to be concerned because I'm on the executive team. What that got to do with Taylor? Taylor don't work there. Now, granted, a lot of folks were saying Taylor shouldn't have been at that office last week either. That ain't got nothing to do with Taylor either. It's business. But for her to come over there to the house to talk to Taylor about Forrester business, she can't do nothing about it. What you go, oh, let me go I'm going to tell your mama. You think Taylor is going to be like, oh my God, my daughter did that? She's wrong? Of course not. But Brooke had to be like, I'm finna go tell your mama. Girl, please. Just stop it. And then to wrap things up, we had the conversation between Ridge and Steph. Because they started talking about the Hope for the Future line and how it impact, to me, if a line is failing, nobody's buying it, nobody's talking about it. Why would it have such a big impact? And you're losing money. It makes no sense to me. But because he's so afraid of the big bad Brooke, Steph is like, wait a minute, hold on. You're not going to waver on your support. And the first thing he came out of his mouth was, oh my God, what do you expect me to do? I mean, Hope is Brooke's daughter. Dude. So if the line was bleeding money, and I mean bleeding money as in millions and millions and millions of dollars, what you going to do? Keep the line there just to keep Brooke happy? You can't run a business like that. You can't run a business like that. That's not good business sense to be like, oh, we got to keep this line going because I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I think the term is called facts over feelings. And the data is stating that you're losing money. The orders are being rejected. Nobody's searching for it online and it's not selling. And we gave it a chance for 3 quarters. And it's not working. Time for the line to go. It is what it is. I sell things myself offline. If there's a particular product that nobody, and I've done it. If I know that I got products in my line that don't nobody buy, I'm getting rid of it. I'm not selling it. I only sell what people want. What my clientele want, they buy. And I sell it to them. I'm not going to get something that people don't want. It's a waste. It's inventory that's just sitting. And right now, they got inventory that is just sitting from the Hope for the Future line because don't nobody want it. Exactly, Joyce Boone. Hope for the Future failed when Thomas left. Thomas was the vision. He created how he felt about Hope. And because that relationship crashed and burned, which technically is also not a good way to run business, when your personal life is involved in your business, it has to work together if it's making money. Otherwise, it's going to crash and burn the moment that the relationship is over. So it's just suck. And, he's worried about, oh, Brooke is going to, what am I going to do about Brooke? Brooke is part of the executive team, and part of thinking about business is looking at facts over feelings, and your daughter's line is tanking. Don't nobody want it. Cheryl said, why not repurpose Hope and her team to another area? Something. Instead of now you got everybody crashing out. Hope, Carter, Brooke, and the Logans are sliding down the wall whining about the fact that, oh my God, Steffi, she don't like you, so she cut the line. That girl gave her multiple quarters to fix it. Instead, she spent time chasing after Finn and not fully being involved in her fashion line to regroup. She didn't do that. So this is the outcome. You cannot do the work and expect that somebody's just going to keep you around just because. It don't work that way. I cannot go to a job and not do the work and just hope that they just like me just because. Even if it was a family member, I can't just sit around and not make money for a family business just because I'm family. They're going to be like, look, we're not making money with your idea. We still family away from this job, but as in business, it's just not working. So Ridge needs to get over himself. I don't know why he's so afraid of Brooke. And look like Eric is too. From what we saw last week. Oh my God, Brooke is going to be so upset. It's like, are you serious, Eric? You're married to her sister. Why do you even care what Brooke thinks about that? If I was Donna, I'd be like, wait, hold on. I get it. That's my niece and that's my sister. But why are you worried about her feelings? You married to me. This is a business. I'm looking forward to help you see your business grow. And if my niece's line ain't working, it ain't working. So, she needs to go take several seats. Jenna, you said she wanted her mama to cover for her? Absolutely. Let's see what we got in the chat. Allison said if Hope would have spent a fraction of energy she spent chasing the D, she may have been able to pull herself out of that hole. Exactly. She was so busy trying to get up under Finn and daydreaming about him and, having these moments talking about how they're kindred spirits and all this old kind of foolishness instead of focus on how the heck I'm going to get this line going. Yeah, that's what she get. So, yeah, let's put a grade in the chat. I will give it a C plus on this one too. Let's see what you guys think. I'm going to give it a C plus, y'all. What y'all giving it? Oh, gosh. Aisha gave it a D. Forrester's already moved on from Hope for the Future. Tanisha, yeah, they have. So, I don't know why they are plotting. Exactly. Jasmine says Stephanie's mistake was not cutting the line immediately instead of using his leverage Hope had to keep her away from Finn. That was a mistake on Steffi's part. She should have cut it a long time ago. But even before that happened in September. She still had since March to get that line together. So even though Steffi pulled that whole leverage card in September, from March to September is 6 months. She had 6 months to get that line together. Oh my God. Gabe gave it an F. Bree, you gave it a D plus. The episode was boring. Brooke and Taylor fighting over stale waffles. I heard that, girl. So yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. It was kind of like, that's why I gave it a C. I gave it the plus because of the fact that I like that Steffi is turning a corner with Ivy. I really appreciate the fact that she's actually embracing Ivy this time around. And I think maybe the writers were listening to our chat because I definitely was honing in on that over the last couple months since Ivy came back. And, I'm like, listen, y'all need to make it where those two ladies work together. They're Forresters, and we got to see that today. So I was actually glad to get the opportunity to see that they utilize that in order for, both Ivy and Steffi to turn a corner together. That's why I gave it a plus. That was otherwise I would have probably gave it a C minus, but that was the biggest thing for me today. And especially since that's what I have really, really been rooting for. All right. All right, you guys, we're going to end it there. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you're notified every time a video has been posted. I'm T from Soap Corner Talk. Till the next one, we'll see you all later. Bye, Soapies.